So in this video, I just want to take you on the journey of how I started car camping and how you can really do car camping or van life very simple, or you can take it on a luxury scale. Either way, it's so much fun if you're into this type of stuff. And if you're thinking about it and you're not quite sure if you want to do it, give it a try at least once. See how you like it. I happen to love it. I started car camping in September of 2021 when my daughter started college down in Georgia, which was about 10 to 12 hours away from where we live. And I wanted to be able to visit her on a regular basis without spending a bunch of money on hotels. So I started car camping, and I got that idea because I was watching YouTube videos. Welcome to Dee's Roads. I'm Dee. I've been car camping in my Hyundai Santa Fe on a part-time basis since September 2021, adventuring and exploring mostly in the East Coast of the US for now. I began car camping as a budget-friendly way to reconnect with nature and escape the daily rat race. Here's Sky. She joins me from time to time. If you're interested in watching solo car camping adventures and occasional tips, this is the place for you. Subscribe and join the ride. And let me quick show you how I started. I used items I already had from home and purchased a few necessities. For an emergency toilet, I reused plastic coffee containers lined with compostable bags. I purchased two $15 camping pads as my bed. To cook, I purchased a cheap butane stove along with collapsible camping pots and pans that I was gifted. For a flat surface to cook on and cut, and as a table, I used a cutting board we no longer used in our home. For plates and such, I just reused plastic plates and cutlery. I kept perishable foods in a cooler bag I got free from work. To have airflow, I purchased a cheap USB rechargeable fan. And then in order to have some privacy and some stealthness, I used black pillowcases as window curtains and secured them with binder clips. I used a black sheet to provide some privacy. I also purchased cheap bug screens to let airflow in but keep the bugs out. My lighting consisted of cheap USB-operated fairy lights that I purchased for like $5. To recharge my fan and run my lights, I purchased a cheap portable charger, which I still use to this day. Total, I spent less than $115 to turn my everyday SUV into a little cozy camper. So as you can see, I started very cheap, very basic, right? I used what I had. I bought some things to kind of get me started so I could do things like cooking. And I started car camping. And the reason I did that was because I didn't want to invest a bunch of money in something that I maybe wouldn't like. But as it turned out, I absolutely loved car camping. So because I love car camping so much, I went ahead and I made a few investments. Let's take a look. I upgraded to magnetic window curtains on all 4 doors. My bed stayed the same. I was still using my $15 camping pads as my bed. For storage, I did add a little cabinet that opens from the top, front, and both sides. This exact model is no longer available, but there are plenty of similar options. Then came my first major purchase, the Blue Eddy EB3A, which allows me to cook with electric when I needed to stay stealthy and not have a flame in the car. Then along with that, I bought a little dash griddle and a rice cooker that you don't see here. I also bought a 5-gallon water jug with a USB rechargeable water dispenser to use with my makeshift sink, which is a cheap plastic container with a lid. For added privacy and a bit of cold weather insulation, I found some cheap fabric and stapled it to blackout curtains. These are secured by binder clips. And then I just gradually started adding more stuff and playing around with the setup of my SUV. And if I haven't said it already, it is a Hyundai Santa Fe. I started out with the 2021, and then I traded that in because I had 60,000 miles on it. Got a really good offer to pay off that one and get the next one without a down payment. So I went ahead and got the 2023 since I already had right around 60,000 miles on it, and it was only 2 years old. So at this point, I decided I think I can make this better. And I really wanted to try out my own build in my SUV. So I did just that. I had my own idea where I had certain things I wanted to accomplish with the build, and here we are with that. So after one of my trips, it looked like there was mold developing on some of the wood. And that's when I decided to tear the whole thing down. And once I tore it down, I realized that it was not mold. It was soot. My family went camping together, tent camping, and we used one of those tabletop grills. And when I ended up folding everything back down, because it was one of those that fold back down, when I folded everything back down, I guess some soot got on those pieces of wood, so it wasn't mold. But at that point, it was too late because I'd already tore everything apart. As I internally debated with myself and started ideating on a new setup, I went back to how I started, plain, simple, bed on one side and stuff on the other side. Then I received a camping cot to review, so I added that. As I was working with that setup, one day I was browsing in IKEA and came across this kids' play kitchen. The problem was that now my kids' kitchen cabinets could not open. So I removed the cot and purchased a tri-fold mattress, which was the perfect height and still allowed me to open my cabinets. I received a LifePo 4 battery to review and test. With that, I purchased an 1100 watt inverter and cut some holes in the back of the kids' kitchen to allow wires to pass through and also a bit of ventilation. This drastically increased my power setup, allowing me to run my fridge for several days without having to worry about solar or recharging with shore power. And an amazing subscriber asked this question a little while ago, and it's taken me forever to insert this into a clip because I've changed my setup since this question has been asked. But I was asked, where would I sit when I was in front of my kitchen and I was recording videos? Where would I sit? And I would be sitting on that area in front of the kitchen on top of the tri-fold mattress. So thank you, Natalie, for that question. I ended up taking out my seats. At first I had a cot in there, and it didn't work out with the setup because my kitchen doors had a hard time opening. Or my kitchen cabinet had a hard time. I couldn't open it. So I took the cot out and I just did a tri-fold mattress and set it up that way, as you saw. And now I'm getting to the luxury part. So I saved this part for the end. I was fortunate enough to receive this for the purposes of testing it out and doing a review. This is the Klaxon Outdoor KX380. And after I show you this, please in the comments let me know, what do you think a good price range is for this, or what would you be willing to spend on this setup? Keeping in mind craftsmanship, all the materials, and it is free shipping. Because I did get a lot of feedback that it was expensive. At the same time, I've looked at a lot of other builds or kits like this that don't offer as much, and they're much more expensive and usually don't have free shipping. So, yeah. can put this seat down right here, and this becomes a 2-person setup right now. Of course, I have it in single person mode. I have a bunch of storage right under here. This area pulls out to a stove. This area pulls out to a sink. And when I'm not using it as a sink or a stove, I use it for storage. Under the bed storage right here. Now, I'm on a trip right now, so this is super messy. Underneath there, I just keep extra stuff. I'm currently on a trip, so as you can see, it's a little disheveled. But I just put this towel down to make sure I don't mess up my seats. There's my toilet set up down there. Usually I turn it this way and then just squat down over it because there's limited storage or limited space for actual toilet. I don't have my refrigerator on this trip with me, but when I do, I just put this seat down and I put it right there in this area here. I can also put it in the front, which, like I said, is a mess right now because I'm on a trip and yeah, I need to clean it up.